I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Welcome everyone to a special edition of the Allen Powell Show. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Got a couple of ways you can catch us. I decided to do a special show because of The Last Dance. So with all that being said, let's lock and load. Let me introduce you all to the panel for the day. We got the sportsologist in the building. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? Congratulations on the show. As you can tell, enough said. Got a lot to talk about, and looking forward to the show.
Yeah, so you got a lot of blue and orange going on right there, man. A lot of blue and orange.
Absolutely.
J-Mo, coming from Indianapolis. What's going on, man? Let him know.
Just glad to be here.
For sure. And then I got the wife. I got the wife down in the building with her. I hate it here name. Like, come on, man. What's going on, man? What do you got to say about that? What do you got to say about your name?
The name speaks for itself.
Okay. Well,
I can't hear wifey.
You can't hear her?
Nope.
No.
Okay, James. I see James is on mute too. I don't know why James.
James, why you on mute?
I don't know.
You're gonna have to kind of orchestrate it. I can hear James. James. Are you there?
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
You good? What? Why you back on me?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear James.
I can hear
now.
you.
I can hear him.
Yeah,
y'all excuse this these technical difficulties. We trying this thing out, man. We're gonna make it do what it do. But we're gonna get into this show. Somebody done left out. She probably gonna leave out and come back in. But we gotta get into this Last Dance, man. Episode 5 and 6 was last night. Got into the 92 finals. The Knicks playoff series, and so we're gonna get into all of that. But first of all, I just want to know your thoughts, James. I'm gonna go to you first, man. What was your overall thoughts on the episodes 5? Let's talk about episode 5.
You know what? Episode 5, man. I enjoyed it. I loved it. First of all, I love the way it started off, man. I love the way that they brought it in with Kobe. I love that Kobe said what he said. And I know that really touched some people because it's a lot of people that like to say different things about different players, and I just love the fact that Kobe said that he said without Jordan there is no him, and I think a lot of people forget that greatness starts somewhere, and a lot of people forget that, man. And Jordan says a lot that he doesn't make comments about being the GOAT, who's the GOAT is, because he understands that. The people before him paved the way for him. So I really like that. I think overall it was real cool. I love some of the stuff that B.J. Armstrong said. Love the fact that it really just, it showed a lot of who Jordan was on the court, man. Obviously, they tried to pull a little negativity, but we ain't even going to get into all that right now. I just thought it was cool, man.
Sportsologist, man. What's your initial thoughts on episodes 5 and 6?
Episode 5 was very good. It definitely showed, to James's point, that beginning relationship between Michael Jordan and Kobe, the big brother, little brother. Everyone knows how Kobe, idolized Michael Jordan, and down to the walk, how he played. He studied him to a science. Somewhat some people could think is somewhat sickening a little bit, what I'm saying? How much he idolized him and how he just, not just basketball, his life, his mannerisms was just like, and also, at the end of Michael Jordan's career in episode 5, how much he was well respected and loved throughout the league. As a Knicks, we get into that, but somewhat I think somewhat too much respect, too respected, in a certain sense, but very well loved. Everyone that was in that era, understood who he was, and it kind of episode 5 definitely showed the love that the league had for him.
Gotcha. I hate it here. What did you think? What did you think about episodes 5 and 6 last night?
I thought episode 5 and 6 was a reflection of what else was going on in the documentary, which is a Jordan Love story. That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, well, with all that being said, I want to get into a few of the specifics. You all talked about the Kobe tribute was cool, and his comments was I thought it was a great way to start it off, and then they even had a little promo before talking about that, a tribute to Kobe, just letting everybody know that it was a tribute to him. So I thought that was cool. I want to talk about the 92 finals. The 92 finals with game 1, and Jordan already talking about that, he's gonna give Drexler the business because they were trying to compare him to Jordan. And he comes out in his 6 threes. And he gave the classic shrug that we all know about. Just your thoughts about that game when he hit the 6 threes, Sportsologist, man. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, I remember that game. I was in 1992. I was 17, so I remember that game clearly. And I didn't know all the what led up to it, or his desire to just come out and just destroy Clyde Drexler. But he's one of the greatest, man. You know what I'm saying? Take nothing away from him. And he came out with that mentality just to let everyone know that there is no comparison between me and Clyde Drexler. And I'm going to show you right now that the margin between us is far. And Clyde had no answer. He had no answer. And he didn't have no answer for the whole series, So he definitely separated himself as, in regards to being the best player in the league at that time.
I hate it here. What did you think about the shrug when he hit the 6 threes and he did the shrug like everybody did that? What did you think about that game?
Is this
I
me?
thought no, he talking to me. What did I think about the game when he shot all those threes?
Yes.
I just thought it looked like the video game that was out at the time when the ball caught fire. That's what it looked like. Jordan on fire. You can't stop him. So
it reminded you of NBA Jam?
It reminded me of NBA Jam. Somebody was constantly pushing C. I think that I think it's just a test to Michael Jordan's sheer will. Like if he wants to defeat you, if he want to make you look bad, he can. The control he have over his body is it was amazing.
And we're gonna talk about that a little later with the Dream Team situation too, how he just took over. J-Mo, man, that 92 finals with the Trailblazers, man, 6 threes. Can you hear us right now?
Yes, sir.
He can hear you.
What was your thoughts, man? That whole game, 6 threes. It was a record at the time. He does the iconic shrug. What was going through the Moore household at that time?
Well, the Moore household, man. First of all, man, I was just like, man, what can't this dude do? That's what I was thinking, man. And the Moore household had a number 1 Laker fan in it, really. So, it was mixed emotions going on. And I loved Jordan, but my dad was a diehard Laker fan, so he was hoping Jordan failed. He was one of the people that was on the bandwagon, hoping that the Trailblazers took Michael Jordan out. So I was loving it, man. I was going crazy, and I just wanted Mike to give him more. Like you said, they had 35 points that half, man. So Mike was amazing, man. And I was just like the rest of the kids, man. I just wanted to see him do more and more, and that also made me want to play the game. So I got a spectator here.
Go
But, yeah, man.
See, he got the baby crying talking about these bulls.
Lord have mercy. Hey, I think what's real interesting, you said that what else he couldn't do, and I think to that point, everyone was just talking about his mid-range game, and his three was kind of suspect. What did that prove, Sportsologist, man? At that time, he hit the 6 threes. Now what's going through your head at that point?
Well, he got hot. You know, I don't think we can consider him necessarily. He was never really a 3-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? But he could hit them. But he got hot, and I just think his will and his determination and his mentality at the time, you know, he took over, and the threes was just falling. You know, I think, you know, as a basketball player, we've all been in that kind of zone. Maybe obviously not on that stage, but in your own world. And he was just in that zone from game one, and we've seen the rest was history.
Hey, that was crazy, man. It's amazing how a shrug can be so classic. It's gonna be these next episode is gonna be great to see as well. But I want to talk about this. So he had 6 threes, and at that time, I think it's the record. Like today's game, they just obliterate like the Steph Currys of the world. Like 6 threes is nothing no more.
No, you're right.
Well, due to the value of the threes that they shoot. And what I was going to ask you, and this is just a question. You know, a lot of people say that he couldn't shoot 3, but in his career, if you really take away his early years, his career, he shot the 3 at 33%. So could he really not shoot the 3?
What was his percentage you said?
33%.
Okay.
Great shooters shoot
Okay.
at what, 40? Great shooters shoot around 40%.
About 40, yeah. 40 is pretty good. 30.
Yeah, so if he shot at
33, I would say 33 is average.
The same as Kobe. I mean, he really was. I don't think it's that he was a bad shooter. I think it's just that he understood that. You know, B.J. Armstrong said that Michael Jordan was no longer playing the game at one point, that he just figured out how to win. He was playing a different game offensively and defensively. B.J. Armstrong, he said that on episode 5. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I felt that, because a lot of people always talk about the players today and they stats and they numbers, and numbers don't lie. I think Jordan understood that I don't have to, and I'm not saying it was all due to Jordan. It could have been the coaching or whatever. But Jordan understood that I need to let my rebounders rebound, and I need to let my 3-pointers shoot 3-pointers, and I need to play where I need to play and do what I need to do what's best. You know what I'm saying? And I think the fact that he wasn't launching threes, people think that he could. That game, yeah, he was hot, so he shot. That's just something to think about, I believe, man.
Yeah. Another aspect of the episode 5 was the shoe deal. The shoe deal that Jordan got Nike after he initially didn't even want to go to Nike. I hate it here. You seen about the shoe deal. What was your thoughts about the shoe deal? And talk about how it compares to today's shoe deals.
Well, what did I think about the shoe deal? He initially did. I thought that listen to your mama, because initially he wasn't gonna go. He wasn't gonna go with Nike. He's like, I'm not feeling Nike. I got my mind made up. And she said, just go and listen. And for the first shoe, it'll only be $250,000. I hate that I wasn't in on that stock, on that Nike stock, even though I wasn't. What was I, like 1 or 2 when it happened? But still, and in comparison with today's shoe deal, I mean, I think Jordan is a pioneer, period. So he really ushered in the superstar having a shoe as well. And it being a big deal, because based on what the documentary said, like, you know, big players had shoes, but it was with Converse. I'm so glad that's not a
Right.
thing anymore because those Converse were ugly. But his Jordans, they were stylish. And I also want to say the shoes hurt his feet because they weren't really good basketball shoes. Do we want to talk about that yet?
We not at well. You want to talk about when he his feet was bleeding against the Knicks in '98?
Absolutely, yes. I want to talk about how the technology of the shoe, it just wasn't really up to par. And he was playing, and his feet started to bleed. I also want to point out that you had some shoes that you played in.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, we could talk about it. Because you had some Jordans and you tried to play in them, and then you ended up having a hole in your sock, and you blamed me because I bought the shoes from the gas station. But I'm here to tell you,
yes,
it's not because I bought the shoes from the gas station. It's because the Jordan shoe was not of good quality, that particular type. So that's all I have to say about that.
It was definitely because you bought it from the gas station, but man, $250,000. I think Derrick Rose got like a $300 deal, man. Hey, sportsologist, Jordan. I know Jordan got to be thinking, man. If I was in today's era, it could have been even bigger.
Well, a couple things. Let me give you a little history on that shoe deal. So when Nike was going under, they don't talk about that in the documentary. So Nike was going on under. They had nothing to do with the NBA, right? So to say, so here comes Michael Jordan, young star. They took a chance on him. They took a chance on him after half of the season of his rookie year. I mean, he showed signs, but it was all nothing with this guy because if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't have been a Nike that as we know it to this day. So. And again, with him not wanting to initially even be involved with Nike, he wanted to be involved with Adidas. They had to up the ante, and they upped the ante. He went for it, and I'm saying the rest is history. So then that's where I'm not going to go into this because it might be part of your segment. That's where the commercials come in and how they promoted it because they were all in because Nike was on their way. Nike was actually on their way out. They weren't even in the ballpark with Adidas and Converse at that time. I mean, It's hard to believe that because of how we look at Nike now, but that's what it was in 1984.
Right. That's why I said I wish I would have got in on that stock.
Yeah.
Hey, Miles saw said, "Because you guys imagine standing in line for some Adidas."
For some Adidas.
And I do know that because there was a color restriction on the sneakers that, Nike was paying his fine for him wearing the ones with the colors because, going back, you only in the early 90s were you able to wear black sneakers and it was a playoff series. You couldn't wear a black sneaker to the playoff series. But because he had so many different colors in his shoes, Nike was paying his fines the NBA was giving him because of the sneakers that he was wearing. That's how much they were all in with Michael Jordan.
Genius.
Yeah.
We'll take that's genius.
Unfortunately, I lived this era, man. But I mean, yeah. A little heartbreaking, but yeah, it is what it is.
Hey, moving on, man. Let's talk about this Dream Team situation, man. They've been talking about it back and forth since I think episode seemed like 3 and 4, but it's been talked about for a long time, man. So when the Dream Team first started in the documentary, Jordan said, "Hey, he does the thing that we do when we go to parties." He said, "Who's all playing? We go to parties like who all gonna be there to determine if we're gonna make it or not." But he says who's all playing, and it has to be implied that he was talking about Isaiah Thomas. Now they talking about that he wasn't directly the reason why Isaiah went on the team, but it's stories going back and forth. J-Mo, I want to go with your opinion first, man. What was what's the reason Isaiah wasn't on that team?
You know what? I think it's etched in stone, bro. I mean, yeah, is it Michael Jordan? Absolutely. But is it just Michael Jordan? Absolutely not. Because it's very clear that nobody on that team wanted him on that team. Nobody. He had smoke with everybody on that team. I mean, who the videos don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Did people get in shoving matches sometimes with some of the other guys that were on there? Yeah, but it was all love. When it was all said and done, they hugged, they shook up. Example, like you might see Charles Barkley and Jordan getting each other face, but they were friends. When Isaiah got in somebody's face, they were ready to box. They hated each other. It was blood. You can see it. They did not like each other. None of those guys wanted that dude on the team. Magic came out and said it straight up. It was me. I did not want it. Bird said it. I did not want him. All of them, bro. They all said it. Nobody wanted him on the team, and they said it straight up. We wanted to be on this team and have fun and enjoy playing in the Olympics, and he would not fit the chemistry. He would be a chemistry killer off the court and on the court. So was it Michael Jordan? Absolutely. But was it just Michael Jordan based on what we seen in the documentary and what we seen before that? Because I keep telling people this documentary is not something that's new to me. I've seen a lot of this stuff. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
But it's not just Michael Jordan, man. That's just that's what I see.
Sportsologist, man. Who's responsible for it?
Well, for Isaiah not being on the Dream Team?
Yeah.
I agree with James. I think it's kind of it's a coward way out. You know, if you go back to, you know, if it's in regards to how Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons was playing basketball, even before them that 88 and 88 series, if you look at Dr. J and Larry Bird when that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was the way of basketball then. You know, and I feel like, you know, Michael Jordan, the Patrick Ewings of the world, the David Robinson, that whole team, everybody kissed his butt. Isaiah Thomas was the only player in the NBA that was a superstar that did not kiss Michael Jordan's hair. You know, so if you look at those reasons, you're right. They talk about Scottie not wanting him. They talk about Karl Malone not wanting him. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. But we all know who the superstar was on the team. And we all know that it stems from that series, those two years when everybody say that the Pistons started to kill him. You know, but I look at it differently. I look at it because he was one of the players that didn't bow down to him. You know what I'm saying? That he didn't kiss the ring. And to this day, him not kissing the ring, they had nothing to do with that series. All them series was tough in the 80s. Isaiah Thomas never kissed the ring. And that's why he's been blackballed all this time. That's my opinion.
I got you. I hate it. Get in there.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree that Isaiah Thomas, he didn't play the game. And when I don't mean the game on the court, I mean the game off the court. I mean, he did not kiss Jordan's butt, and that was the problem. If the other players would have said, no, I don't want to play with him, who cares? But when Jordan said, no, I don't want to play with him, that's it, you're done.
Yeah, I agree.
The most popular person on the team said no. Okay, well then no. Nobody wants to go to a party that Jordan's not at. That's it.
Okay.
Let me add something to that.
Go ahead.
You ask Magic, Larry, and them guys to this day, you know, that wasn't the best players in the league. You know, so it was a slight. And I just feel like that's a shame that because this guy played you tough, he didn't do what you thought everyone else in the league was doing, or he didn't bow down to you. You kept one of the top 12 players in the league at that time off this team. I mean, and you can see in the documentary, Isaiah continuously say, you know, he gives him his props. And Michael, to this day in 2020, well, it was taped last year, he still got problems. And the problem is Isaiah never kissed the ring. Oakley, Ewing, Barkley, they all did. Magic, they all did. And that's the knock, man. And that, to me, that's the bottom line.
They all conceded.
Yeah.
J-Mo, I know you had something to say, man. You ain't lose your train of thought, did you?
Sorry about that.
No, the only thing, we good, man. Only thing I was gonna say is I think the answer to that question, I think the question was who was responsible, right? I think the answer is Isaiah was responsible. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, man, if everybody is saying the same thing about you, I mean, you're responsible. You know what I'm saying? If everybody is gonna say I'm a a-hole, if everybody's saying that, then it's time to look in the mirror, bro. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas is responsible.
Hey,
Isaiah Thomas not being on the All-Star team. That's who's responsible.
I'm gonna say this. I agree to the extent that he does have to take some responsibility for the actions of the Detroit Pistons, and because it wasn't just one person. I agree with y'all. He didn't kiss Jordan Butt, but he also did some dirty stuff with them Pistons, man.
Well, wait a minute. Well, let me say this though. What about them being able to play with Dennis Rodman with no problem? Because Dennis Rodman was a wounded bird and needed some guidance. He was able to play with him, and Dennis Rodman was a butthole. Still is. I mean,
well, Isaiah, it never came up of him playing with the Bulls, so we never know how that would have happened.
Well, it's the dream team. I don't want you as a teammate. But they accepted Rodman.
And the thing is, I don't want you as a teammate because you played me tough.
Tough or dirty?
Huh?
Or dirty.
And now, if you look, this, I challenge you to go back and look at the Philadelphia 76ers when they played the Boston Celtics. I challenge y'all to look at that. Yo, Dr. J and Larry Bird was throwing blow. They had him in the headlock. This is how the game was played. The Pistons didn't do anything different. You know why we talk about this? Because it was Michael Jordan. When Philly played the Lakers, when Philly played Boston, and Isaiah talked about this. The only reason we're having this conversation about the bad boys is why? Because it was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Well, they won't believe it or not. They didn't play the game any differently than anybody else in the 80s.
So you're not gonna have Isaiah take no responsibility.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you're holding him responsible for not being on the dream team because of how he played that series or the bad boy image, I'm saying to you, that's how the game was played. They beat each other up. Look at Danny Ainge and they were actually throwing blows. No, they weren't even giving out technical fouls. This is how the game was played in the 80s.
Well, maybe that's why the league is white rice now.
You know,
nobody want to take a chance.
Some footage. Yeah, I agree. I'll send you some footage. I mean, they were taken down with the headlock, but this was the NBA's. And I'm not trying to get off onto my soapbox, but this was the league's investment. This was the league's investment. This is who they and I haven't been on to talk about it, but John Sally said it best, and I think in episode 3 or 4. He said Magic and Bird were supposed to pass the torch to Michael Jordan, and this team out of Detroit interrupted that. That speaks volume. They came out of nowhere. They said shit. They might have won 3 in a row, but it wasn't supposed to go like that. It was supposed to be Magic and Bird save the NBA because it was on its way out. Pass it to Michael Jordan, and whoa, who's these rough riders from Detroit? So that, to me, a lot of that has an influence on perception, and a lot of that has an influence on him not playing on the dream team. That it's not just him being the a-hole, because a lot of them probably didn't know. They didn't hang out, but it's that image of how he played. But him being denied of being on a team was supposed to be the 12 best players in the NBA at that time, and you put John Stockton in front of him, and at that point he hadn't won nothing. Come on, man.
Right.
Come on, man.
J-Mo, I'm gonna give you the last word, man.
Man, all I can say is this, man, is when they come down to that dude, man, I feel like he is blackballed and he is getting the short end of the stick. But again, I think it comes down to his personality as a person.
Could be.
We got to remember, it's been on record where people been saying that dude used to attack Jordan's wife during the games. It's more than just basketball with him. And then not just that, man, look at the coach he was for the Pacers. Like, his personality, he wanted to rub off on his players, and look at what it did to the Pacers organization and to their players. The guy's he's not all there, man. We know that. And when it's all said and done, Isaiah Thomas, I think Isaiah Thomas is his biggest problem. He needs to get out the way of Isaiah Thomas. And when he does that, he'll be okay. One thing I tell you, now he's trying to play. How many times did y'all hear him say, you know, I got a master's degree in education from the University of California of Berkeley or wherever. I mean, good. You know, he's trying to paint a different picture of himself because he know he messed up. He know he's garbage in everybody's eyes. I mean, but Bill Laimbeer stood up there and just said it straight up. Bill Laimbeer is standing on who he is and what he did because he knows it is what it is. Isaiah wants to paint a different picture because he understands that the picture that he painted of himself is not a good picture, and now he wants to try to recreate it, but it's too late. It is what it is. That guy, it is what it is, man. No,
I agree with that last statement you talked about Laimbeer in a sense that Laimbeer just like I don't care. I don't care, but I think to a certain community, Isaiah is trying to save face. And I'll say this, I do feel sorry for Isaiah because I feel like he missed out on a great experience with that whole dream team and just the camaraderie that he could have had and just the overall experience. I do feel sorry for him, man, because he was supposed to be there instead of John Stockton.
He should have been. He should have been.
Yeah,
and it's not just John Stockton. He could have replaced probably 5 other people.
Christian Laettner.
Well, Laettner was gone because he was the player of the year that year. That's why they put him on there. He was NCAA player of the year that year before as coming out of Duke. That's why they put him on.
I mean, let's keep it real, man.
Shaq, I know you're gonna say Shaq should have been there. I get it.
Next to Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas is the second greatest point guard of all time. It's not about his play. It's about his, he's a little crazy.
But I think so. I feel like they should say that then.
And Rodman is really crazy.
So if it was a favoritism contest, well then say that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't feel
exactly
like
what it is.
Exactly. So my point is, but they want to paint it he was left off. So that goes to my point. If you wasn't a fan of Michael Jordan, which Isaiah wasn't, okay, now you are. We're not blaming it on Michael Jordan. We know there's other people that had a say so. But if you're assembling the best players in the league, assemble the best player in the league. If you're putting together everyone that kissed the ring, then say that.
You brought up a point.
Keep it 100.
Right? But you brought up a point before we got started. You asked if LeBron.
Well,
you asked if LeBron was going to get brought up in this conversation. So since you asked,
I don't know where LeBron comes. Now I put on my Lakers stuff. Put on my Lakers stuff.
Hold on, Al, before you move. I think the only reason why right now he's in the main reason why he's in the GOAT conversation is because of popularity.
Easy.
So
Whoa, James. We ain't got time for that conversation, brother.
We took it too far.
Hey, brother James.
Some kind of way we went left. We were supposed to
brother
be straight.
James down in Indianapolis, bro. Whoa. You can't just throw something out there like that, brother. I mean, we about to get off of some toes. Al, reel it back in, Al. You gotta reel us back in. Yeah. He buffering now. Hello?
There you go. He back. He had to take a sip.
I don't see Al frozen now.
Okay, we back now. I'm back now. I see you guys again.
But
Al, you froze.
I see everybody except for Al.
Yeah, I see him, but he frozen right now.
Yeah, he's coming together.
Okay. I'm waiting on direction.
Hey, man.
He finna fix it. Look, he just said.
You just going to throw LeBron information out there like that? And just,
I wonder what made you bring up LeBron James. That's hilarious.
All these Jordan lovers, they all do. They do it all the time. Given the opportunity.
He said, but what about LeBron?
Right.
I got a group called, hashtag Brian Fan Fail with a clown face. You got to put the clown face in. You can get in the group and you can see it. It's for people who say ridiculous things about Brian. It's not about bashing LeBron. If you bash LeBron, I'm going to kick you out the group. But the group is for fans that say ridiculous things. Get in there and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Right. I wouldn't say anything necessarily ridiculous, but to say he's only in the GOAT category because of popularity, that might be the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard about LeBron.
I won't say only, but it has a lot to do with his popularity.
So okay, let me ask you this: while we waiting on Al to get back. Okay, just based on right now, resume wise, or just basketball talent, where would you put LeBron in some of the greatest of all time?
Oh, he's in my top 5, bro. No
Okay,
doubt.
okay. All right.
No doubt.
Long as we in the same ballpark. Long as we
Oh,
in the
no,
same.
hey,
Okay.
I'm not one of them silly people that hates on LeBron.
Okay,
Don't get
okay.
me wrong. The dude is legit. He's a hooper. He's a baller. He's a killer. I think the thing that separates him from Mike and Kobe is just that mentality.
Absolutely.
And I remember
Absolutely.
when Kobe challenged him in that All-Star game and he didn't respond, that just threw me off. I'm like,
Okay.
man, Kobe want all the smoke, and you not coming back at him.
Right. Okay.
Like to
All
LeBron,
right.
it was all fun and games. To Kobe,
We in the same ballpark. Okay.
Yeah, LeBron, he's not that leader to him. He don't take up that. He don't take that charge.
I was going to have to go pour me a drink, Jay. I thought I was going to have to be drinking when you do that LeBron. I was really about to go pour me some 1738 right on camera, man, because I really thought this was about to turn into something else, but we reeled it back in. Okay. All right. Thank you. Woo.
Y'all wow, man.
This
Y'all was
episode is brought
wow.
to you by Sir.
Yeah, I must have to pour me a drink, man. I was like, say, whoa. But we cleared it. We good.
But Mouse all said Horace Grant said it best. And then he said, you see how God redirected that conversation when he do it. Hey, we not gonna go there.
Reeled it back in.
Yeah, reel it back in, man. Reel it back in. Boy, I'm gonna go put on my Lakers stuff, man.
Where we at? I got the Kobe jersey over there. I'm ready.
I got a 23 jersey. 23.
James, we got some other comments that so James Word says LeBron is whack. The media forced LeBron on us early to make him great. I agree with that, but we're not gonna get into that right now. Are we gonna get into that
Because they did the same thing with
definitely-
Jordan. Now that
Thank
I'm
you.
looking at
Thank
the
you.
films,
Thank you.
Hey,
They sure did.
you
They
talk about
showed
kissing.
they did
You
the
talk
same
about,
thing with Jordan.
They sure. They
you talk about
absolutely
kissing.
did.
You talking about kissing the ring, and I hate it here. You done lost your mind if the stuff you talking over there. You know better.
She's talking facts though.
She not talking. She's not talking.
When you talk about the media,
I got my own man. I'm a commentator on the show. I'm not a wife right now.
Yeah. She's talking facts, bro. She's talking facts.
No. Yeah, all right. I want to talk about
Well, I'm
the part.
telling you.
I want to talk about the part when it said when they had a race and Jordan didn't endorse Harvey Gantt, and he said his
the O.J.
reason
Simpson
was
of basketball. The O.J. Simpson of basketball.
Thank you. I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Yeah,
Say it.
exactly. He's
Say
O.J. Simpson
it.
of basketball.
Okay,
man.
so he said Republicans buy shoes too. What was y'all thoughts about that statement?
So we starting with
When Jordan didn't endorse Harvey Gantt.
Yeah, he said who you starting? Who you
Oh,
starting?
just jump in.
Yeah. I want to start with I hate it here because she was really up in arms about that one. So you go ahead and give me your hot take.
Oh, well, when he said Republicans buy shoes too, that's it. We already said it. I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Good.
But the reason nobody said anything about it back then was because Jordan made N-words feel good. Buy these good shoes. This will make you feel important.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
Buy these shoes so you could feel like you somebody. So nobody said anything. But when he really was supposed to step up, this man was a white supremacist. White supremacist versus the black man, and you say Republicans buy shoes too. You not black, you green.
Yeah. You know
hey,
that was understanding. You know, him being from North Carolina. My father was born in Wilmington, North Carolina, where Michael Jordan's from. You know what I'm saying? That's where my father's from, right? So understanding the dynamics of that state during that time, right? I felt like, you know, that was a huge slap in the face. But it wasn't looked at like that because it was Michael Jordan and everybody kissed the ring.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, does he have to get involved with politics? No. But for you to make that statement, and then you know what's sad to me is all this time later, so that thing will take to 2019. It's okay to say I messed up. It's okay. It's okay to say, you know, I might have, even though I don't want to be a political, I don't get involved with politics, but that was the wrong thing to say because I'm from North Carolina and what my parents might have went through in the 60s and 70s. But he still showed no remorse, even during this documentary. He's never. I feel like he's somewhat like a Donald Trump when it comes to that. Like at no point in 6 episodes has he ever said, you know what, I could have handled that a little better. I should have did that better. He doesn't take ownership. Like you know what I'm saying. Like if he does, it's a sense of like an arrogance, or you know,
it's Jordan.
It's just not. You know, and maybe because I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan of it because basketball. But if you peel back the layers, it's like, yo, man, it's okay to say, you know what, I should have. Maybe I didn't have to endorse him, but I definitely didn't have to say that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to be a political activist, but man, that was definitely not the right thing to say.
Yeah, you say his middle name is Jeffrey. I say his middle name is Arrogance. He is definitely arrogant. That's his whole attitude. You hit the nail on the head when you said Donald Trump. But when I say Donald Trump, it's because when they had that rally where white supremacists were on one side and then the people protesting the white supremacists were on the other side, and Donald Trump literally said, well, it was good people on both sides. No, you cannot tote the line. And for Michael Jordan to be a black man and a black man from North Carolina and to tote the line, man, please.
Yeah.
I think you two both have had your time. I think it's time for me to put my perspective in here.
Okay.
And I humbly say perspective, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But I will say this. I will say as a man that did grow up in North Carolina, around a Confederate state, you got to be careful. And I think back then you have to understand that players did lose. And I don't think Michael Jordan was in fear of losing his career over that. But players lost their jobs. Michael Jordan had a teammate that lost his job over politics.
Yeah, Craig Hodges.
He had a player.
Yep.
Craig Hodges lost his job over politics. What's his name? Abdul
Raif. Yeah, formerly Chris Jackson.
Lost his job. It was a great ball player. Lost his job over politics. But I think the biggest thing that Michael Jordan said that I took again from just the documentary, I don't know if it was 100% truthful or if he was, you know, if he was just shooting bull crap or not, but he said that it was something that he said, I don't know, I think he used the word kind of just jokingly amongst a couple of his teammates on the bus that got dragged into the media somehow. So I took that part, and that's how I took it. Because I mean, that can happen. People could be talking on the bus, talking in the crib, and then some hating person or whatever you want to call them goes and takes that to the media, and now your name just got dragged in the mud. I don't think he owes anybody any remorse or anything like that, because at the end of the day, Muhammad Ali chose his way. Michael Jordan can choose his way. LeBron can choose his way. And I don't think anybody has to do it a certain type of way. And I think a lot of people today, they act like everybody has to do it the way that they want to do it. I can be a deadbeat father. I can be a great father. I can be a hands-on father. I can be a type of father that expects my wife to take care of my children. But that's up to me to decide. That's not up to the public or the next person to decide which journey and which route I want to take to do things the way that I want to do them. And I think that's what people got to understand. If Michael Jordan wants to be, people today, this is a little off subject, but people today still think that he's the Michael Jordan that owns prisons. They still think that after all this time, they still don't understand that that's a completely different Michael Jordan. That's a white man that owns those prisons. That's not Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's a totally different guy. But I stay in arguments or debates with people that still say, "Oh, he represents prisons," and I'm like, you know what, I'm out of here. I don't even debate with him no more because at this point in 2020, if you still haven't done your research and understand that that's not the same guy, then you just want to tear this man down. But either way, I'm gonna sum it up because I know we on the time constriction here. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Me personally, I can talk for me and how I would have handled it. But if he chose to do it a certain different way, then he chose to do it a certain different way. Here's a great example. A lot of people think that Michael Jordan doesn't do a lot of charities. He does a ton of charities. The difference between Michael Jordan and the LeBron James is LeBron James likes to have the cameras present while he gives. Michael Jordan don't want no cameras present while he gives. So now the media and the people don't think Jordan gives.
Right.
They don't think he does a lot of stuff. And now Michael Jordan's PR people are saying, Mike, we got to start having cameras present now on some of the things that you do. Now because the world don't think you give. They don't think you do anything because the way that you are, you like to keep everything under the table and just give. But at the end of the day, I mean, hey, it's teach his own, man. But
got you.
That's just my
I got you. Mouse Sauce said if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Michael Jordan. And Maurice Tisby said devil's advocate role. If a person doesn't want to get involved in politics, isn't it that they're right? Back then the NBA was still on the come up. The world wasn't ready for how NBA players and athletes have their voice. I would say this. If he would have jumped out there, who's to say what would have happened? I would say this. I believe if Jordan endorsed Harvey Gantt, he probably would have won that election. I'll tell you that.
I agree there.
Because your actions have consequences, and lack of action has consequences. Being a deadbeat father, that is your choice, but the consequence is your child is not going to have the direction that they need coming from you. Meaning, so by him not making a choice, by him not saying anything, we didn't the people that needed him, he was not there for them. He makes statements. He said, by him wearing those shoes and him being the best, that makes people want to emulate him, so they buy his shoes. Maybe if he did tell people that he was for charity, that he did things, it's about how you influence. What do you do with the power that you have? His power that he has, he tells people to buy gym shoes. And we do it. We make him rich. And the reason why it's not far-fetched that he would be the person that owns the prisons, which is ridiculous because he's not. But the reason that people kind of could believe it is because of the type of person he is, or the type of person that he's portrayed to be in the media. Is my face gone? So y'all didn't see my face?
I see you. It was a comment that popped up. Maurice, he typed the whole book underneath you. Yeah, he typed the whole book.
Look at him. He like, I got my shoes. You mean something. You
Sportsologist, man, you got the last word.
I like them. No, them nice.
Well, I just say, man, I'm not saying he necessarily. I don't feel like he has an obligation or responsibility to make a political decision. I just think that, however it came out, he had an opportunity to clear that up on this episode, right? And I just think that, regardless if a teammate leaked it, just understand, especially with the times that we're living in now, with the president we have, and understanding the influence that someone of your magnitude could have, I just think you could have handled that a little differently. That's all. But again, him being him, he couldn't say that. He would never say that.
He's a competitor. No, he's a competitor.
He can, man, he's 50-something years. I mean, you
can't be wrong.
What you competing about? What are you competing about? I just say this: there's nothing to compete about. Saying I'm not saying you got to choose a Democrat or Republican, but it's nothing. But what I'm saying is, if you handle the situation, if you look back on it based on where you're from, based on how some of us have lived or the area you grew up in, I just say, rather than say that, don't say anything at all. Plead the fifth. But I just think you could have handled that differently, and you had an opportunity on this last season of the last one that we've seen, The Last Dance, to make amends, and you just chose not to. That's just my opinion.
He said I was just playing. That's what he said.
Then he said I never want to be a role model. Then he said he never want to be a role model. Okay. Really? Okay.
It was a lot there.
He said the same thing, man.
Don't nobody care about Charles Barkley. Ain't nobody come see you, Otis. Ain't nobody come see you, Otis. Nobody care about Charles Barkley.
right, hey, we can go on that topic because I thought that was a big piece of the documentary, man. But we're gonna move on. Episode 6, man. Hey, we not and we not on the time thing like that. We can go over the hour, so it's all good. We're gonna get it all in today. Episode
I got a
6.
question for you, Al. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
You being one of the biggest Jordan fans, and you know we've developed this over the last 10 years, and your image, what you're watching through this documentary, I know you're watching it closely. I know some of your perspective has changed about him.
I would say this: he definitely could have done more as far.
No, go ahead.
This situation right here with the Harvey Gantt situation, he could have definitely did more with that. But it don't change my opinion as far as him being a GOAT. I see that he was just super competitive where he just made up stuff sometimes to dominate the opponent. But as far as him being a GOAT,
no. I'm not questioning that. But with me living in Chicago now, it's like this is a guy that y'all felt couldn't do no wrong in your eyes.
God.
And I think that watching this
Kind of like LeBron fan.
He missing LeBron again?
I'm listening. No, I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Wow, he didn't even let you get it out, bro.
Hey,
dang.
But look,
I got to pour a drink, man.
Listen, my thing about Jordan can do no wrong. That actually never was a part of my conversation about Jordan. It was always strictly basketball. It was never stuff off the court or stuff he should have done in the community. It was never about that. And that's one of the reasons why I always said LeBron, to me, off the court, if you want to be the GOAT off the court, hey, I agree with you 100%.
But let me ask you this. Okay, that's the other stuff. Never mind.
And my favorite part of the documentary was when Charles Barkley said, y'all could take them boards off them windows. Y'all don't need them right now. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
When Charles Barkley said that, when Jordan said, you know, God gave you that ticket, and then, no, don't put that in there. I was just joking. Were you joking, though?
That's what I'm saying, man.
If the man said he was joking, who are we to say he wasn't joking?
He sure joke a lot, don't he?
Would you be the man of Christ? Would you ever call yourself God?
No.
Never.
No. Because I don't play like that.
He said I blessed you with them tickets.
I don't play it like that, but some people do play like that.
Who?
You know what I'm saying?
Who?
Jordan.
Exactly.
Jordan.
Exactly.
Jordan God. Michael God Jordan.
Look, man, hey, let's move on. Demetrius said y'all still debating this GOAT thing. Jeez. Hey, man, you know that comes up every time, all the time, and you know it's gonna come up even more with this documentary going on. He said who's eating ice. But look, I want to get
some type of crunching going on. I think because you two are in the same house, but you can hear some type of it's like a crunching or something going on. I can hear it.
Yeah, I do hear crunching.
I thought it was James' son eating some ice. I thought it was the baby, man.
You thought it was the baby Chip? No, it's you, bro. It's you.
Oh, well, you got to go outside, Tia. You got to go outside.
It's nighttime. I ain't going outside.
No, look.
What's the next topic, man?
Hey, all right, episode 6, man. So episode 6 introduces us to Jordan gambling habit. And this brother was gambling like what, flipping quarters, whatever that was.
With security, yeah.
Yeah,
he had to win at all costs.
The security guard that looked like the white guy of Martin.
Yeah.
But I would have, and then go ahead.
His name was Bob.
Bob, yeah. This whole party's out of control.
Right.
I can't go no further from you after.
Yeah. But it introduces us to him gambling, and you can see the competitive spirit coming out any and every way when it comes to the smallest things. When y'all seen that this brother was gambling with the quarters, man, and how competitive he was about that, what stuck out to you? Anybody can jump in there.
Who's gonna start, man? Who wants some smoke? Because I want all the smoke.
Go ahead, J
All
Mo.
the smoke. Listen, man.
He gone already. You gotta cut him off.
Oh no, cut him off. What kind of show is
This
this?
is what I got to say. This is what I got to say. The nature, it's about the nature, bro. And this is what I was talking about earlier before we got live with everybody else and invited the world in. Demetrius, man, stop it, dog. Just stop it, man. I don't know what your problem is, man. What happened in the previous week? Just stop it, bro.
Just gonna go in on the viewers.
Because the show's gonna go
about
on
the viewers.
Just stop it, man. Okay? But listen, the competitive nature, again, I mean, Anthony, like you might see it as an addiction, but it's about some people see things as a game or a sport or as a job, but it's a way of life. Some things are a way of life. And Jordan is not an addiction. Like, I don't think the gambling thing is what his problem is. The same way he was when he was flipping them raggedy ass coat. Okay, I can't say ass on her, can I?
You can, but
when he was flipping them raggedy coins, it's the same way he was on the court. And people will tell you this about this man. He was competitive about every single thing that he did. And even matter of fact, he said it on the episode. It's not about the gambling. He doesn't have a problem gambling. He just is a huge competitor. Now, unfortunately for Michael Jordan, he just happened to have bread. So money was on the table. But so people like us see it as, okay, well, he's a compulsive gambler. Now, yeah, he put money on the table for things because that was his nature of competitiveness. Now, with Sideshow Bob over there, did you hear the numbers? It was like $10, $20. So it wasn't much with him because he understood Bob was broke. He just loved taking from people. He loved taking people's souls. If he couldn't take your soul, he was going to take your money. When he was on the court, he wanted your soul. He wanted you mentally. He wanted you physically. He wanted to dominate you. That was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, again, it's about the mentality, the heart, the soul, bro. And people don't understand. And if you wasn't that type of person, then you're not going to understand it. If you're not a baller of some type, or even, it doesn't even have to be sports. It could be in the world of business. You can be in the business world and be compulsive at just getting to the top. When it's all said and done, the mentality of just being the best and destroying someone is in that man's nature. And if you don't understand that, then you just don't understand it. But guess what? LeBron don't understand it.
All right, hold on. Look,
Speaking of not understanding, yeah, dog. He brought it back. He brought it back to LeBron.
DeMar DeRozan don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? He out there being buddies with the guys on the court. He's looking up to him while he's playing against them. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Let me say this. I think.
Hey, let me stamp it with this. Let me stamp it with this before you talk, Al. I said what I said.
I believe that mentality did make him the GOAT and why he was so great. Sports officer, just go ahead, man. What's your response?
Hey, he's in trouble, man. He's upset right now. When the sportsologist started talking, he's not even going to make sense because he's talking with anger now.
No. There's nothing you can really say right now that I haven't heard from a Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan lover. So I'm not upset. I'm a little upset because I gave you a little more credit at the beginning of this show, and now I'm looking at it like, man, I don't know why. You're very articulate. Sound very knowledgeable, but as the show done went on, you done lost all credibility with me. So let me start there. Now, what was your question? I got so, but I
just had to think to throw that out there.
Hey, I knew he wasn't gonna be able to come back. It was too much. Much. I know, like I'm like, he's not gonna remember anything he just said.
There he's supposed to say.
It was basically about the gambling that we seen from Jordan starting off, how competitive he was with every.
I'm gonna drop this bombshell on you, James and Al and the viewers. You know, do you believe that Michael Jordan gambling was one of the reasons, or came to some of the reasons why his father was murdered?
I thought that last night when I saw it.
That's been brought up.
I definitely thought that.
So as you praise him, Mr. James, in regards to his competitive nature and that drive and that blood, you know, understanding that there's and again, I can't prove it, so I wouldn't even speak upon, you know, but there's some legitimate reasoning, believing that all what we're talking about is the reason that his father was murdered.
But we don't know for sure.
No, I said that. You know, nothing that was ever proven or anything like that. But you know, just the gift and the curse. So let's put it like that.
Well, let's get into what we really want to talk about.
Wait! I had something to say about the addiction.
Go ahead.
I think that Michael Jordan was addicted. I think that it was a gambling addiction, but it wasn't a gambling addiction. It's a power addiction. He was a powerful force on that basketball court. He won games because he felt like he willed it so. Like, so when he said God gave you that ticket, he meant that. So he conquered basketball. Okay, what's next? How about golf? Let me see, can I wheel this ball to go in and I get a par 4? Let me see, can I wheel these quarters to go up against this wall or whatever that was? So every time he did not will it so and it didn't happen, I got to do it again. When he willed it so and it did happen, I got to do it again. So I think it was an addiction, but to power. Not necessarily to what it was, but just the power of it, him wanting it to happen, and it happens. That's my take.
I like that, but that also showed me some strong faith that brother had too. You know what I mean? Like the will that he had was amazing to me. But we're gonna get into what this brother James Oliver just said. I didn't understand Joe Robinson, aka the sportsologist, hate for Chicago until Sunday. If I was him, I wouldn't like Mike either. I think he's referring to you being a New York Knicks fan. And so with that being said, I'm not here to make jokes and all of that. I really want to understand the mindset of a Knicks fan going into that New York Knicks series, and I want to kind of go through the series. Before the series started, sportsologist, how did you feel about your Knicks going into that series?
Well, we knew it was going to be a tough hurdle because we really couldn't beat them convincingly in the regular season. You know, I think we felt we had the team. We were big up front. We was talented with Patrick Ewing, and we felt like defensively we could play with them. You know what I mean? And he just showed that, you know, it was competitive. You know, we won game 1, we won game 2, and he turned it on. You know, and it was just too much. They was just too much for us. And let's be clear. You know, I know James is playing. I don't hate Michael Jordan. You know, I probably got more drawers in my closet than most Chicago. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I don't hate Michael Jordan. The part that I get frustrated with, and they say because not because I'm a Knicks fan, not because we couldn't get it done. Because once he retired, we had an opportunity to go to the finals. And one year we lost in 7 games to Houston. The other year we ended up. So it wasn't Michael Jordan that necessarily stopped it from doing what we needed to do. We stopped ourselves a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other conversation. The part that, let me get back to stay on course. As a Knicks fan, we felt we had the team to do it. And Pat Riley has spoke upon it. Charles Oakley has spoke upon it. We wanted Patrick. We felt like Patrick Ewing was the one that was to carry us to the promised land. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have that dog in him. Very talented, probably one of the most underrated centers because he never gets spoke about as far as all-time greats. But he didn't have that dog in him to carry us over the hump. You know, and Michael Jordan said it best. If we were both playing our best, you know, they probably were a more talented team. But I felt we had a team that could beat them. But our leader, who I thought was our leader, he didn't have the shoulders to put us on our shoulders and carry us to the promised land. You know, go ahead.
Before I get everybody else in, because because like you said, you're a Knicks fan, so I just want to kind of go through the series a little bit. Y'all go up 2-0 Starks have that baseline dunk. First of all, what did you do when Starks did that dunk? I know you was probably going crazy when that
was
happened.
ugly.
That's one of y'all best moments that y'all ever had. What was Sportsologist doing when Starks did that baseline dunk?
You were surprised because John Starks did dunk, but you're surprised because you watching the game going back and forth, and even though he really technically didn't, Michael Jordan was in the clip, but he didn't really dunk on him. You know what I'm saying? It was,
right.
But it was an upliftment. Like we here, like they've won 2 championships, and you know what? We're going toe to toe with them. Ain't nobody in the Eastern Conference ever take them, go up 2-0 on the Bulls doing this run right here. Nobody. So now we've arrived. You know what I'm saying? This is New York. We got a sense of arrogance about us, even though we have won since 1972. But the point is like, all right, we're not backing down to these boys. We're not scared of them. We're not kissing the ring. But unfortunately, our leader was kissing the ring the whole freaking time.
Here it go. Here coming out. Here go the next coming out.
Yeah, speak your truth.
Oakley was kissing the ring because he was a former Bull. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So, we wasn't all on board. But again, we just didn't have enough dog in us. We was pretenders. We were pretender bullies. I was just about to say, J-Mo, and you probably can comment on this. The Knicks reminded me of a low budget Bad Boys. Like, but it was low budget because we didn't dislike him like the Pistons did.
Yeah,
they was fake. They was fake bullies. They wasn't about that life for real.
J-Mo, what did you think about that? That's it. When Knicks was up 2-0, man, how did you feel about that series at that time?
Man, look, the dunk that you brought up, like I remember all that, like it was yesterday. I was upset. I was hurt. I thought it was over, man. Honestly, I thought it was over. I didn't think the Bulls would come back from 2-0. I did understand the difference in home court advantage and all of that stuff. I said it. When we get back to Chicago, it's on, But I honestly thought that our backs was up against the wall. I do remember the Knicks was real scrappy. And, but when it's all said and done, man, the Knicks, they were low budget, man. They were
whoa.
I mean,
whoa.
I'm speaking facts. I'm not even being funny. I'm not even being funny, man.
Let me ask you this. The Knicks gave the Bulls a better series than any other team they played in the finals.
They did. The Knicks.
That's how horrible the team was in the finals.
Utah.
Wait a minute. Don't you do that. Sportsologist. Don't you do that.
I think Utah gave the best, but other than Utah, they gave the best series. But when I say low budget, I mean they wanted to be like Detroit.
Right, I agree.
But
I agree.
I think, matter of fact, because I coach a little bit, and some coaches tried to steal my stuff. And at first I was like, man, this ain't right. You stealing my stuff. But then I remember, and Draymond Green said this, you can steal our stuff, but if you ain't got the personnel, just like you said about your man, you know what I mean? Your man Ewing, he's supposed to be the dude to take y'all to the promised land, but if he ain't got the heart, the mentality, hey, it is what it is. I think Starks ready. Starks had what it.
Oh yeah, he wanted that smoke. Starks
had it. Mason had it.
Oh,
yeah.
Charles Smith didn't have it. Patrick Ewing didn't have it. Charles Oakley didn't have it.
I hate it here. You want to get in there?
Only part I liked was the dunk on Jordan. He said it wasn't the dunk on Jordan, but
hey, wait. Pause.
Hey, cuz I'm always for the underdog. I can't stand somebody being arrogant. Jordan was getting on my nerves. Hey, after I saw he didn't like that black man, it did turn me off. I said, wait a minute.
We're gonna have to have a meeting.
I don't want to be like Mike.
You gotta remember what team you on. You gotta remember what team you on, cause you tripping right now.
That's why I ain't put my name on here.
Can we take a moment and respond to the last message other than Antonio? Because it did say by my main man, myself, Mark. So we're gonna pray for Sportsologist. Probably God in the name of Jesus.
Oh yes,
I
and
said,
I put it
He
up there.
coming and he on the show.
Oh,
He's a watcher. Wow. Wow.
He doing double duty, man.
Everything work out for him. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay.
Antonio
Just wanted to get that
Antonio goes, I can't watch your show until I watch the latest episode. So he haven't seen, I guess, 6 or
Oh yeah, it's
or 5
spoiler
and
alert
6.
on him.
But hey, I think we didn't cover the most part, man. We all know how the Phoenix series went. They do the 3-peat. Paxson hit the shot, man. I think we covered majority of what I wanted to talk about today. But before everybody leave, I do want y'all to come to church with me real quick. This is just a little scripture I want to leave y'all with before I get up out of here. I heard a message talking about rip up your list, and rip up your list is talking about when you're trying to plan your whole life out by yourself without considering God's will in the equation. So the scriptures, Proverbs 19 and 21, and it just talks about your plans versus God's will. And when you're trying to make plans, I would say the best thing is to include God's will in the process, because you can tell him your plans all you want, and he'll turn you a whole detail, because he's going to give you what you need, not what you want. So and rip up your list talks about timelines. Everybody say, oh, by this age I want to do this, by this time I want to do this. But if God got you on a different trajectory, then he's going to do what's best for you and what you need at that time. So Proverbs 19:21 is pretty good scripture I want to leave y'all with. So Sportsologist, appreciate you, brother, coming on with us today.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I need a drink, man. I need a drink.
Hey, J-Mo, man, you done got him on the drink, man. I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with me today, brother.
but I just appreciate the invite, man. You know, I'm here anytime I'm invited. You know, I appreciate being here with you, the family, and Sportsologist, man. Hey, you know, it's all love, baby.
It is. I had a great time, man. We're gonna do this again.
Definitely. I hate it here. I appreciate you and your name.
Why say she un-American? Is me? Do you see the comment?
He definitely got to be talking about you. And he says
Well,
talking about
I
Jordan.
want to move to Canada anyway, so that's okay. Yeah, thank you for having me on your show. I do hate it here because you definitely tried to put me outside, but that's okay. Even though it's nighttime, we ain't got no light outside.
Somebody had
you
to
know,
go.
whatever.
Hey,
Somebody had to go.
Hey, if I may say one thing before I go, you know, you on the side, wife, right? Well, listen to this. He's the head of the household, okay? But remember this: you the neck, okay? And the head can't do nothing but the neck, okay?
Facts.
You remember that?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that's it, man. We'll see y'all. We'll actually see y'all tomorrow, because this was a special show. We'll see y'all tomorrow for our regular show. We out.
All right.